Hello, I'm Karen Giannoni. We start with some breaking news this hour because in the past few minutes, the British couple who've been detained for more than 7 months in prison in Afghanistan have just arrived back in the UK. Let's show you the pictures of 80-year-old Peter Reynolds and his wife Barbie, who's 76, in the last few minutes arriving at Heathrow Airport from Qatar. Qatar, the country that played a major role in negotiating their release. Barbie Reynolds smiling broadly. The couple walked through the arrivals hall. They didn't talk to any reporters waiting there. Obviously, a lot of people waiting and hoping to hear from them, but how emotional this must be for them. Let's talk to our news correspondent, Sean Dilley. And Sean, they have been through so much, haven't they? They've been through so much, and they are, they're an amazing couple from wherever you approach this. I'll tell you a bit about their background, because their journey with Afghanistan certainly kind of started in 1970 when they got married there. Many years later, 18 years ago, around about 2007, they moved out to start a program of education for children and for women. And they've been working on that program for the past 18 years. They became Afghan citizens, very much members of the community. In 2021, you'll remember, of course, the Taliban took over. The UN forces pulled out, but despite advice from the British government not to stay, they did. They continued their mission until they were returning home on the 1st of February this year in sort of the middle of the country in Afghanistan. They were detained by authorities, and we have to remind ourselves that's the Taliban. That's problematic for any British citizen, even if they have got Afghani nationality as well, because consular services there pretty non-existent at the moment, and they've been in custody in Taliban-run jails since. And the conditions were pretty tough, weren't they? Considering an elderly couple who loved Afghanistan, the treatment was rough. Yeah, this is a really interesting story to be following, because there's slightly conflicting messages, isn't there? Because Barbie, who's 76, says that she was actually treated quite well by authorities. At the same time, we have to bear in mind that she and her husband would actually like to return to where they've come to regard to be home. But part of the reason for their release, part of the Qatari brokering on behalf of the UK with the Taliban, has been based upon medical needs. So malnutrition and anemia are the conditions that their son Jonathan says that mum Barbie had been experiencing while detained, and that dad Peter had been experiencing multiple seizures. So quite serious medical conditions, but both had been returned to, or at least taken to Doha, to Qatar in the first place. They received the medical attention and medical checkups before flying in on a commercial